Welcome, welcome, welcome. Doing what I've been doing a lot of lately, which is building some Jedi Purge Trooper armor. I'm working actually on the last piece that I need to form, which is one of the thighs. So if you have any questions on how this whole process works, shoot them in the comments. So I'm shrinking these down to fit Alex, the gentleman that I'm building this for. Let's see how this all goes. So again, if y'all have any questions, let me know. I'm forming some clone trooper thighs. We'll end up with something that looks a little bit like this all together. That is what it will look like. So yeah, let me know if you got questions. Using ABS slurry to combine these. So basically, you cut these pieces out. You kind of trim this seam a little bit better. Trim around there a little bit better, but you cut these out, and then you kind of formulate where you need them to go, but based on the size of who you're building it for. Good luck. I've seen some cardboard builds, wanting to make a clone trooper helmet out of cardboard. I've seen a lot of cardboard builds. Those are tough, but good luck. You know, I wish you all the luck with it. All right. So you see, I just basically need to trim this all along that line. So this is a Jedi Fallen Order Purge Trooper. So it's a basic clone armor. He's got a, yeah, I'm reading chat. It's got a basic clone armor, glossy black, has a pauldron, and has a comma, a skirt. So yeah. Yep. Yes, I am reading the chat, but yeah, this is the last piece that I need to formulate. You get these pieces, they come, there's, edges around all of them. You've got to trim those up and then put it. Move if I'm gay. Yeah. I don't know why people think being gay is would be a cut down, especially nowadays, man. Move if you're gay. Comment if you're 8. Anybody that seriously thinks calling somebody gay is a cut down, dude, you're showing your age. Grow up. Grow up. Thank you, Vince. Manual Horizon 1. So, please explain. What did you mean by move if you're gay? If you're. So that's Y-O-U-R, that's my gay. Move if I think you meant Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, if I am gay, but I am not gay. But that's not a problem. But please explain, Manual. I'd like to know, I'd like to delve into the thoughts behind that comment. You fucking douche. Yeah, he's like most prepubescent teen boys. He's got a big thing to say, he says it, and then anybody says something back, and they shut the fuck up, so whatever. Whatever. Welcome back if you come back, Manual Horizon. I would like you to expound upon your wonderful statement. Yeah, so sometimes on circular cuts, I'll come through and I'll just get kind of a jagged cut here. You can see that's not very smooth, but I'll come back through later on with a Dremel to clean that all up. All right, so we get these pieces mostly ready. And then we're just gonna line this shit up and see the best place to make it match. So you can see there's an angle on that piece and an angle on this piece, and they kind of line up. So that's more or less where you want this side to go. And then this side over here, you can really determine how big or how small you want it. And I'm gonna make it a little bit tighter than it normally is, but you line these up and then start making more cuts. So I'm gonna wanna keep this whole side. So I'm gonna put the front side over this back side and then trace a line down here, cut right along that line. Down first so it doesn't squiggle all over the place. Optimus Prime. I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message. I met the voice of Optimus Prime at a Comic-Con once. Nice dude. Very good speaking voice. All right, so tape that down like that, and that just so I've got a straight line and it doesn't shift when I'm trying to trace this. And again, this doesn't have to be exact science, but you want it to be close. It makes it easier later on when you're creating the seamless. Yeah, like a line to draw, or a line to follow. It's kind of hard to see on there, but there is a line in there. Done. We are here. We are waiting. So please let me know, y'all. Y'all got questions about what I'm doing here, the process I'm doing. So I'm taking two pieces and I'm turning them into one piece, which will eventually be a thigh. So it looks like this. You shim it. You can see I got a shim here and a shim there. And then you fill the seams with ABS slurry. So this is now like a hard paste that I'll have to, or a hard plastic that I'll have to sand down. And that goes on both sides. And you do that to create the seamless armor that a clone has. You've got, you know, all different pieces here. Guys, this is actually the last piece right now that I'm working on that needs to be formed. So please, ask me questions. That's the only way I can know what questions y'all have, is if you ask them. So then that will go like that. We'll get shimmed together like that, and then we need to figure out the other side. I'm going to tape this down again just to get a good feel and seal. Who's better, Commander Cody or Captain Rex? Here is the reason that Cody is better than Rex. Cody has a jetpack. Rex wears a skirt. Enough said. Rex obviously has much more airtime, story time throughout throughout the series. So, I think Rex has more of a story and is more fleshed out. But armor-wise, I just think Cody's armor looks so much better. That's just my own personal opinion. Okay, so I want this thigh to basically match the other thigh that I created size-wise. And so I just kind of want to eyeball those and make sure, and they do. Get this little straighter. So that's, in my mind, it ain't even close. Cody's armor is just so much more badass. So much more badass. All right, another piece of tape just to make sure this doesn't squiggle. And then we trace along this line again. Cut the second piece. And these two pieces that you cut out will make the perfect shims to shim this armor together. And then we're going to use this. This is ABS slurry. So I take spare pieces of this, cut them up into little chips, mix them up with acetone, and then it forms a paste that you can use to basically glue this armor together. It's by far the best way. It takes, a good 20 minutes to dry, so you've got a lot of work time, wiggle time, unlike super glue. And then it chemically melds the plastic together. You're basically turned into one solid piece of plastic, so it makes a much better armor. Shim, shim, shim time. So, next thing to do, once we get these sides all flattened down, is to start the shimming process. I just want to make sure these are as flat as possible. And I'll do a combination of hand sanding, and then I've got a piece of sandpaper taped to the table, to the workbench, just to make sure it's as flat as it can be. Just want a basic flat edge. And then we'll kind of look at them and see how they line up. Yeah, the workbench always gets to be a huge mess at this time. I'm almost, probably halfway through this build process. Mostly done with the construction, and then it ends up being just like a large pile of crap all around the workbench. All around the workbench. And then I get to clean it up, and then I get to start something else. And this is a commissioned Purge Trooper build for a gentleman named Alex. So I'm not building this for myself. This is the first time I've done a Purge Trooper. And people often ask when they're talking about doing armor, especially clone armor, if you should 3D print or use plastic. So this is an ABS kit, and it is extremely flexible. You can't do that with a 3D printed thing. They're just much lighter, much more durable. If you drop a 3D print like this, it may crack, it may break. These things are really, really good. Now, I still haven't sent my Cody for approval. I'm gonna have to do some reforming of pieces, and I just really don't want to take the time to take it apart right now. So, still not approved, Cody. But shit, that shit happens. That shit happens. Don't get me started on the approval process for 501st. It's not enjoyable. But I still have my 501st approved clone. I've got a 332nd approved clone, so I do have 2 501st approved costumes that I can still troop with, even though I don't have my other one yet. What's up, Mr. Goose? And what is up, Kevin? So then you're looking at something like this. There's a bit of a gap there that I will have to get rid of with the shimming, but yeah, that side looks good, mostly good. That side looks mostly good. All right, so let's get some shim on here. Let's get our shim on. Shim on. So I'm using, again, ABS slurry here. It's what happens when you mix acetone with plastic. Yo, bro, you're a great person. God is proud of you. You're loved. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'd like to think God is proud of me. I'm proud of me. All right, so we've got a shim. We've got our ABS slurry, which I'll show you guys. This stuff, right now it's about that thick. You can see it kind of drips, but it's, kind of a paste, almost like a corn syrup consistency. If it gets too thick, you can always add more acetone. If it gets too thin, you can always add more chopped up pieces of ABS. But you just basically apply this like a paste. This is an old chopstick, and you can see how the plastic gets onto it and just gets, stuck to it. But apply it like so. I always wear a glove because otherwise I'll get it all over my hand. And just make sure it gets rubbed in, spread out. And then I'm going to clamp it to the piece here. Just like that. And so I'll let that dry for a couple minutes, then we'll get the other side on there. In the meantime, I'll do a little bit of sanding. So this needs a little bit more slurry in there. You can still kind of see the seam. So in addition to using slurry to glue, you can also use it to fill the seams. So you'll just kind of drop this in there, let it dry. It'll form a plastic on there, and then you'll sand it down to make it all seamless. This I want to get as much of this on here as I possibly can. And you kind of have to do this in layers too, because it'll settle. This is how you create seamless clone armor. I'll come back over, sand this down, and then come at it with some Bondo, some filler primer, and make it all nice and smooth. Again, this is the first time I've done a shiny clone. The Jedi Purge Trooper is a shiny clone. So I need to make sure everything is smooth as a dolphin's ass. Dolphin ass smooth. That's pretty fucking smooth. Excuse my language. So rub it down like so. Let it settle. I'll probably have to do even one more after this. You can see the same thing here. You can kind of see the seam in there. I just need to fill that in. Fill that in. Appreciate the positivity, my brother. As you baji, I can't even say that. Appreciate your positivity, man. ABS. This is probably my favorite part of the process, making these pieces seamless like this. It does take a lot of work, but there's just a certain satisfaction to it. And I'm not completely done sizing all these pieces lengthwise. They're all sized correctly for the width. But I need to come back and do a little bit of adjustment on some of the height of some of these pieces. Yeah, so you smooth that out as well, and then we're just gonna let that dry. Maybe come back with one more coat. This one's a little bit better, but it still does need some. There you go. I've seen people are doing some cool things with pool noodles. They'll put like a dowel in the middle of it and use that as a training saber. Be creative in your creations. And don't let anybody tell you that your cosplay or your lightsaber or isn't good enough. Whatever you do, if you like it,
okay, so had
way to
stuff
do it.
dried?
Yeah, I'm on live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it had.
Sorry.
Just smooth that down like so. And then let it dry. It's that simple. That's simple. I'm making Jedi Purge Trooper. So Jedi Fallen Order Purge Trooper. It's basically a glossy clone with an airborne helmet. And he does have a pauldron and a skirt. It's a skirt wearing clone. So this is a commission for a gentleman named Alex that wanted him a Purge Trooper. So yeah, it's a really cool outfit. If you played Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, you saw these fuckers coming after you all the time. Inquisitors used these, and they were, I think, like the last generation of clone, I believe. And they were wearing clone armors before they transitioned to the Imperial Stormtrooper. So yeah, that's what I'm making. That's what I'm making. Ancient cosplays, what's going on, man? Bryson's build, what's going on, man? Appreciate y'all being here. All right, so those are filled in. This is probably dry enough to do the next shim. And so we've got this large ass piece that we got. I'm cutting the other one off. The other thing is you can cut these with scissors. They're thin enough. And a lot of times it's what I will use. And there we have a shim. All right, same process as before. We're just gonna slather this on there. It's kind of like paint. kind of like painting. And now I do stand by my statement that anybody can do this. There's no rocket science to what I'm doing here. Takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of work, it's a lot of sweat, it's a good amount of sanding, but there's nothing that should stop you from wanting to try doing this yourself. And I've got full build videos for all of my cosplays, so it'll kind of show you how I did it and, you know, maybe give you some advice. And I learned everything I know about doing this, I learned when I was building my first clone trooper. So it's, you know, I didn't go into this with any kind of foreknowledge. It's just one of those things that happen. So there we go. Second side is ready to go. We'll let that dry for a little bit. Now we'll get on some sanding. What's up, Bricks? What is going on? So what is happening with everybody on your Tuesday? I'm obviously off my real job, and so I am here working on this. Probably gonna binge watch some Game of Thrones later. I gotta rewatch the first season of whatever the new one is, because I forgot what the fuck happened. So I can start watching the second season. And then doing this. I was gonna go shoot some cosplay stuff, but I don't really feel like it. Don't feel like it today. All right, sanding. So this is probably everybody's least favorite part of a build, is the sanding process. Sanding more. So we got the abs here. I'd already started sanding a little bit on the side here, but basically I'll go a combination of a mouse sander or an electric sander and then hand sanding just to kind of do that. Oh, sorry, I just missed that. You made Darth Maul's, cutting the ends off of 2. Yep. Yeah, so I've got, it's kind of how I learned how to use a saber, is just went and got a big 6-foot dowel from Home Depot and taped up the center part of it, and I use that, so. There's always a way, so just do a little bit of sanding here, and again I'll go back and forth between this hand sanding and wood block, and right now I think I'm using 80 grit sandpaper. Typically, I'm going to see a spot or two where I'm going to need to add some more slurry just because it's, you know, I didn't get enough in there. So, long process from here. Once you get it all put together, then the true fun begins in making it seamless. So that's where we're at next. And then as you can see, this stuff really does dry pretty quick. I mean, I could still pull it off if I wanted to, but it's enough sticking on there that we can kind of continue this process here. All right, so next up I'll need some tape, and then we're gonna put the whole thing together. So this one I'll clip the ends typically and then tape the center part just because you can't really get a clip in there. So when you line these up, you're lining them up by the top seam, and then if you notice, especially on the thighs, when you put this together, there's going to be a large gap there. And then we're going to fix that later by just kind of cutting a curve into there. So that side's like that, and then this side is almost lined up on the bottom, almost. But again, we'll have to cut a little bit out of it. So in this one also, I've got a very large gap in there that I'll end up needing to fill in with some slurry. So, oh, if I could be a Jedi or a Sith. I think they're both too dogmatic for me. You know, I'm not big for joining, and I'm not big for So I don't think I'd like to be either, but if I had to choose, it'd probably be Jedi, just because I lean a little bit towards being a good person and helping people. Although who knows what the Acolyte's going to show us about the Jedi. Let me start. Got a friend who has seen episode 4 and said that episode 4 really helps to redeem episode 3. So I'm holding out hope. Alright, so paint that on there just like so. And then we're gonna fit it together. Fit it together, line up the top. Tape there, and that actually closed a good amount of that gap. And there, and then we'll get one more little piece of tape up here ready too. And again, I can tell there's going to be a bit of a seam that I'm going to have to get rid of here, but that happens. All right, so that side's done. Let's knock out this last side. Yeah, so I have watched The Acolyte. First 2 episodes, you know, I would have given like a 7 out of 10. Episode 3 kind of takes a curve. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it, but I'm holding out hope. It's just, there's not a whole lot of promise to it right now. And then 2, what about Skeleton Crew? I mean, that's supposed to be coming out this year, and we haven't seen jack about that. So I'm wondering, are they embarrassed about that show too? Because I would have thought that we would have seen some stuff about it by now. I know that it's coming out because they've got the toys have already kind of been released, images of them. So if they're making toys, I assume they're making the show. All right, once again, we're going to line up the top of this as best we can. And then a little tapey. Right now, I would not recommend the Acolyte, but you know, I would hold off on. Wait till the whole thing comes out. I'm gonna give the makers the benefit of watching it through. I think my biggest disappointment is that this was kind of supposed to be a show about the Sith, and right now we haven't really even seen anything Sith. So I kind of want that. I want to know what the hell's going on. I want to know the backstory. So hopefully we get a little bit more of that. And that story and that part of it comes more into focus. All right, that's how you do it, y'all. Seamless clone armor. Making thighs. Making thighs. All right, so this is how we do. Yes. Shins are. Yeah. So what are is it for clone? What is it for, Ancient Cosplays? For clone, for Mando? Or is it for Shin Hati? The shins are, you know, one of the toughest parts of a build. Just because you've got to create the shin spoon. Oh yeah, yeah. So the shins, is it realistic or is it animated? As it can, you know, animated is a whole lot easier than the realistic because you don't have to do the shin spoons. So when you're dealing with the shin, so it's got this area here in the realistic clones that they call the shin spoon. So when you order a clone kit, you get an additional set of spoons that you'll then cut out. You'll cut out this piece here, and then you'll use this to slip in and make it seem like one piece. And that's simply because this hole here, unless you're double jointed, you will not be able to get your foot through that. So yeah, that's why we create the shin spoon. It's a hard thing to do. You got to kind of create that, then create tabs in here that you slide that up into, and it's probably the most daunting part of a clone build. And each time I do it, I'm worried about it, and each time I do it, I manage to pull it off. So the shin spoons can be difficult. So they're gonna do like the magnets or something like that. Yeah, then you won't have to worry about this. So you will not have to worry about the shin spoon. But yeah, there we go. So that's how you do it, y'all. I'm gonna take a break because it's starting to get warm here in the garage. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a like. If you're not following, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you like this, you'll like the content. I got a lot of it. So y'all take it easy. As always, I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.